Hello and welcome to another video. It's been a while since I've done a video, but I've been really busy just lately. I've been doing some bongo related things, chopped the end of my thumb off, which took a while to heal. And I've also been on holiday, so I've had a lot of things going on, but I've also got a massive project to do. And it's bongo related. I'm going to show you in a second what it is, but yeah, so I'm quite excited about this one. It's been sort of a few weeks in the making, this one, so I'll kind of tell you what happened, and we'll kind of go and have a look in a second of what I'm talking about. But basically, one of the viewers of the channel got in contact with me to say, hey, I like your conversion, can you do something for me? And I went, yeah, of course, yeah, let's do this. So I've got another bongo in the flipping garden. So I say we go and take a look at that bongo and see what we've got to do, and I'll explain everything. So to make my life a bit easier and so I can work on the bongo actually just outside of the garage, I decided to take out a couple of fence panels and a fence post and just drive it straight into the garden. So there we have it, someone else's bongo in the Fantastic Ideas HQ. So this is quite an old bongo, this one. I can't remember what date it is now, but they've cleared it all out, and look at that, that's what we're dealing with. This is what we've got to do. I've got 2 weeks to complete this, so this is going to be quite a tall order really to get it all done. Now this used to have the gull-wing seats, as you can see the mounting points here, and they will have to be removed to allow a proper seat to go in. They've had these rails put in by a company. They were really gritty, I have to say, and quite dirty, so I do quite a lot of cleaning to get these back up to spec, and there's a little clue of what's going to happen later on in the video. But for now, we've got to get this sorted in 2 weeks' time and give them a full conversion. So this is what the van looked like originally, and they had a spray job done on it, then this kind of like a Raptor paint, which looks really cool. And so before, I went to meet them, and this is what it looked like before. So they had this kind of weird galley kitchen at the back, which, as you can imagine, is really unusable. There's a set of seats right in the way, as you can see here, and they used to sort of sit in the front here. They've got a big dog as well, and to get to the kitchen you have to either climb over the seat or go around the back door, and it's a lot smaller than it looks on the picture. So as you can imagine, you just crouch down in that little space there, so it's pretty unusable really. So that's why they needed to get a new conversion in there, and called me and got me to help out. So the first thing I've got to do is put in a new floor. This is something I've never done before in a bongo, or any van for that matter. So I've just got to do some measuring and then get myself off to B&Q and get myself a load of wood. And here it is, I've bought a load of wood. So I've gone with a 9mm plywood for the base, and I've bought some extra 12mm because I've got to remake one of the panels on the kitchen unit. So it's a case of literally taking everything to pieces. They've got 4 sliders in the back of the van, and they only need 2 just for the one rear seat. So you've got to take everything out like this to actually get the sliders out. You see that pin I removed earlier? But these sliders, like, they were absolutely full of dirt and plastic and bits of hay. I don't think the company who put them in thought of cleaning them at all really, which is a bit of a shame. So some of the bits that were actually on the rails were these like extra bits of metal, which seem to be used as like a little stop. They aren't on my rails, so I just had to angle grind them off because they were just completely in the way of the floor. And then it's just take out the little dicky seats, and everything just needs to be removed really, including the side panels, because I've got to get the floor kind of underneath those side panels anyway. It's not too difficult to remove those panels, you just got to give them a good pull because they're just on these like little spring clips. Now I've got to remove those little humps where those gull-wing seats used to sit, and that's just a case of angle grinding these things off. There's no other way to do it. So here they are with everything removed, and I clean up all the edges and give them a good spray with some black stone chip paint. Unfortunately, it does leave the holes in the actual the side panels, but there's not a lot you can do about that. So I read on the forum that actually cutting strips of plywood and laying them in the grooves inside the van like this is the way to go, and then you put the floor on top of that. I'm not sure this is totally necessary. I think next time I'd experiment without using these. But I made myself a little template out of some really thin bit of wood and just lay that on top of my 9mm plywood. Then I just mark that out and cut everything out with a jigsaw. I mean, I really am just making this up as I go along, but I'm guessing this is the way to do it. I think in hindsight, next time I will actually make it in 3 parts, and I'll just do a big long rectangle down the middle and then just do these side bits as you need them. Here I'm just cutting out the slot actually for the rail. And you've got to get this just about right really, because you've got to give enough gap for the little clips to go in, for like the plastic covers to clip into there, so you have to leave quite a bit of a gap either side of the rails. So I've got the first part of the floor in, I'm just putting the back part in now. And I do actually modify this. As you see, I've got blocks of wood at the end of the rails, and this is can't do that because you need to actually put the sliders back in, and that needs to be completely free. Now this is the vinyl flooring that the customer's chosen. As you can see, it's like a nice oak looking vinyl. And here we go. I've never done this before as well, so this is all a learning curve, but it wasn't too bad. It's not that bad a job. It's just once you get it laid in nice and flat, it's just a case of going around with a Stanley knife and just trimming it all in. Now I can highly recommend getting a hook blade for your Stanley knife, because this made the job a lot easier. You could just hook it in and just run it around those arches and things like that, and it was so much easier. So here is the vinyl all cut in now, and it's all looking pretty good. But now I've got to move on and onto the kitchen unit. Now originally I had this slider cooker drawer, which is really good, but the customer doesn't want to cook inside, so I said, hey, why don't we go back to the original design with just the doors. Now as you can see, the cabinet is blue, so I've got to remake the front panel to have the doors and change the colour to, guess what? What's it going to be? Yellow. There we go, bright yellow. That looks really cool actually, and so I've made that entire front panel. In fact, I remade the back panel as well, just so I can put the socket on there. And I've made this little panel here for some DC power outlets, so you can run LEDs straight from there, and from the switches on the front. I have a fuse board in there. Now this is really cool. So I've got this bank of switches, and this is something I always wanted to do with my conversion. I've trimmed in all the holes here, I've rounded them all off, so it looks pretty cool. I'm really happy with it. So the next thing I put in was the actual seat base and the drawer, and that's looking pretty good. I had to drill out the holes in the rails to get that to lock properly in a certain location. Got to do that. That's got to be yellowified, and the drawer's looking good. So at this point I've had to stop filming because the guys are going to turn up soon, and I've just got to get everything finished. So let's just look at the final result before they turn up and see what you think. So everything is in and it's looking extremely cool. I think the yellow really works actually. It looks really nice with the floor. I've got that top storage unit all covered in the yellow vinyl as well. I've got these switches all wired up. These look pretty cool. So there's the usual thing. I've put the worktop lights, and there's lights for inside the van. These light strips are really bright. They're really cool. I also wired up the fridge so it can work on the leisure battery, and it can switch it to 240 volts. There's like a 12 volt adapter in the van as well. And yeah, I've got the top cubby hole and then the bottom cupboard as well, and they're all on magnetic latches, so you can just move the doors out of the way. There's a 240 volt RCD protector in that cupboard as well, and obviously got the little seat, which is super handy. In there they're going to put the fridge obviously, and they're picking up the fridge later on today actually, after they've picked up the van, so that's pretty cool. They've got the rail for the little table. I've given them the little table as well because that goes with the conversion, so they may as well have that. Another great feature that I've added is these access hatches which are in the seat base. Now these will come in handy when it's in bed mode and you can't get access to the drawer, so you can just lift that up and get access to the drawer below, which is something I always wanted to do with the one when I had it. So the drawer, obviously we've seen this not that long ago, looks pretty cool. It's so big, it's such a great drawer. I think they're going to find this so useful for them, and I'll definitely recreate this drawer because it's just the bee's knees, that is. So another feature that I kept from the conversion is the L-shaped seating type thing. Their seat's slightly more forward because I'll show you what they've got that's a bit different, but yes, you can put the table in there and create another seat by putting a cushion on top. The reason why it's a bit short is because they've actually kept the back box. They decided to have the original back box that I had, so I covered that in the yellow vinyl, as you'll see in a second. So let's have a look. Pazang, look at that. So that looks lovely. I put some of the stretch carpet on the sides, and I also put the stretch carpet all the way onto the inside and the black vinyl, so it kind of looks like the drawer. And this has really kind of like made it look quite nice actually, because it was looking a bit tired and old, but yeah, I think that's rejuvenated it and making it look quite nice. So there we have it. I've converted someone else's van. Like I said, these people actually got in contact with me through the YouTube channel, and they really loved the layout that I did, and they just wanted it for their van. And I came up with a great idea of just selling all my stuff because I wanted to rebuild it anyway. And you know, they were happy to have that, and they just wanted me to change the colour from blue to yellow, and that was a bit of a mission. But I had to remake the front panel of the cabinet because they didn't need the sliding drawer because they didn't want to actually cook inside. So yeah, so I've done it. I've actually transplanted everything into here, and yeah, it was quite a lot of work. I've rewired all the electrics and everything in here, so it's hopefully going to work really well for them. And they're a lovely couple. Whether they'll let me video them, I don't know, but yeah, they're coming in about an hour and to pick it up, so I'll see what they say, and I'll give you an update on that. And well, the guys have been and they've picked up the van, and well, I forgot to video any of it except for them leaving, which I'll show you in a second. But I have to say, they were absolutely over the moon with it. They just loved it. I mean, I think it's everything that they actually wanted and more. So, I mean, compared to what they had before, when I first went to meet them and looked in the van, I just thought, oh, this layout, I don't think it would work for anybody, to be honest with you, unless you wanted to store something like a motorbike in the back. To me, it's just not a practical layout, and they obviously understood that. And yeah, they really liked it. So this is a bit later in the day now, and they've actually sent me some update pictures because they left here and went straight to pick up a fridge. So they put the fridge in, and they went straight to camping that night. They picked it up and went straight camping, and yeah, and they looked like they was having a great time. They sent me a few pictures, which I'm not going to share on here, but yeah, it looked like they're having a great time. They've got home and they've actually decorated the van and everything like that, so it looks amazing. Made it their own, which is what you should do. So now I'm sat in my van and I've got absolutely nothing. It's a completely blank canvas now, which is really cool. So I've got to set about making my van back into a camper van. I've kept the fridge. That's pretty much the only thing I've kept. They gave me a seat base, which they didn't need because they took mine. And yeah, so hopefully I can convert it again into a flatbed because that worked out really well. So I don't really want to go back from that now. So yeah, so I don't know if anybody else want me to do something for their van. Like if you've got a van that needs converting and you'd like me to kind of like have a look for you, yeah, just give me a message like these guys did, and I'll see if I can help you out. I've got another video coming up with another Bongo related thing I did for another subscriber. Now this is something very different again, but yeah, that was really good actually, and that took me about 2 weeks to actually do, which is one of the things I've been doing. And yeah, so I'll do that in the next video hopefully, and you'll see what I did there. But I think for this video that'll do, and well, we've got a big journey ahead to convert this van back, and hopefully you'll join me and in those videos, and I'll see you in the next one. So thanks for watching. Cheers. See you later, guys. See you later.